For 3 years, I told anyone who would listen that Hollow Knight was overrated. I bought it, played about 40 minutes, got lost in identical blue corridors, died to a boss whose name I couldn't pronounce, and quietly uninstalled it. Today, it's my favorite game of all time. What changed was me, and it happened almost by accident, inside a completely different game. I'm going to tell you that story in a minute, and I promise the ending is not what you expect. But first, I want to show you exactly why some games refuse to click, no matter how hard you try, and how you can use that knowledge to unlock almost any genre you've ever bounced off. You know the feeling, because everyone knows the feeling. There's a game out there with overwhelming reviews, Game of the Year awards, a community that speaks about it the way people describe religious experiences. Your favorite YouTuber calls it a masterpiece. Reddit calls it a masterpiece. The reviews call it a masterpiece. And then you play it and you feel absolutely nothing. 2 hours in, you're checking your phone. So you reach one of two conclusions. No map until you buy one. Cryptic story. All of that is technically true. I rushed toward objectives. I treated exploration as the boring part between fights. I expected the game to reward the habits that every other game had spent years training into me. And Hollow Knight doesn't reward those habits. It quietly punishes every single one of them. Here's what nobody tells you. Not getting a game is almost never about skill, and it's almost never about quality. It's a mismatch between the habits you brought with you and the habits the game expects. And that's actually great news, because habits can be retrained. I know, because it happened to me by complete accident. But before I tell that story, you need 2 words, because without them, nothing I'm about to say will land. Most players use the words challenge and punishment like they're the same thing. They are not the same thing. And honestly, the difference between them decides whether you love or hate almost every hard game ever made. Challenge is how difficult it is to avoid failing. Punishment is what failure costs you once it happens. Those are 2 completely separate dials, and games set them independently. One electrocutes you every time you miss a note. The other just says, again, from bar 12. The piece you're playing is identical. The difficulty of the notes is identical. But one of those rooms you never want to enter again, and the other one you'll practice in for hours. That's the difference. Celeste is one of the most challenging games I have ever played. Some individual screens took me 50 or 60 attempts, but when you die in Celeste, you respawn instantly, 2 seconds from where you failed. The music doesn't even stop. Massive challenge, almost 0 punishment, and that combination is why a game about frame-tight jumps became beloved by people who swear they hate hard games. Now flip it. Plenty of games are barely challenging, but brutally punishing. One mistake, and an hour of progress. When someone says they hate difficult games, half the time they actually hate punishing games and have never had the vocabulary to tell the 2 apart. Take that distinction and put it in your pocket, because we are going to need it twice more before this video ends. Hades is a game where dying is the entire point. It's a roguelike. You fight out of the underworld, you die, and you wake up at home, except every single death sends you back with something. Currency, weapon unlocks, new conversations with characters who react to exactly how you died. Death in Hades isn't the punishment. Death is the delivery system. The game pays you to fail. I put about 90 hours into Hades, and the whole time, it was doing something to me that I didn't notice until much later. It made me stop being afraid of failing. Somewhere around hour 30, I caught myself charging into boss rooms, not to win, but to see what would happen. And that mindset shift matters more than any reflex, because when you're not afraid to fail, you experiment. And when you experiment, you learn at triple speed. Hades is what I'd call a gateway game. It hands you the hard game feeling, that rush of finally breaking through a wall that's been stopping you for days, with the punishment dial turned all the way to 0. And once you've tasted earned victory, you start craving it in places you never looked before. So, riding that 90-hour high, I did something I'd sworn off. I reinstalled Hollow Knight, and I'm going to leave that reinstall sitting right there for a few minutes because there was still one problem. Tolerance means nothing if you can't make yourself press play in the first place. The most underrated resource in gaming isn't money, and it isn't even time. It's the will to actually launch the game. Nobody talks about it, but it's the real gatekeeper in front of every genre you've never gotten into. For me, that wall was fighting games, and it stood for a full decade. Execution barriers, frame data that reads like tax law, online lobbies where veterans fold you into a paper airplane within seconds. There's no gentle on-ramp in sight, and no roguelike gateway to build you up. What finally got me in wasn't a mechanic at all. Those characters mean something to me in the way only childhood things do. So when Dragon Ball FighterZ came out, and it looked exactly like the anime in motion, I bought it without thinking of it as a fighting game at all. That connection carried me through the awful early hours that every fighting game has. The hours that usually make me quit. I wasn't grinding a genre. I was playing with characters I loved, and learning combos was just what hanging out with them required. By the time the nostalgia wore off, something incredible had happened. I could actually play. That's the second method, and it's the easiest one. But what about when there's no gateway game and no connection to borrow? For that one, reach back into your pocket. Take that challenge and punishment card back out, because here's where it pays off. The final method works on any game, in any genre, with zero prerequisites. Stop asking why don't I like this, and start asking why did they build it this way. When I hit my first real wall in Elden Ring, some knight in gold armor demolishing me for an entire evening, my old instinct fired immediately. This is unfair. This is badly tuned. Why are there 100 other bosses I could be fighting right now? Ask all of that at once, and the answer is embarrassingly obvious. The game is telling you, out loud, you are not supposed to win this fight yet. Leave. Come back. The wall was never a wall. It was a signpost, written in a language I hadn't bothered to learn. Almost every design choice that feels unfair works like this. What did the developers make cheap? And what did they make expensive? What does failure cost? And what does it teach? Ask those questions about any game that's rejecting you, and I promise the design starts talking. Sometimes you'll listen and still decide the game isn't for you, and that's completely fair. But at least it'll be a real decision, not a misunderstanding. And it was this exact question, asked at the bottom of a cave in a kingdom of bugs, that finally finished the story I started at the beginning of this video. So, the reinstall. Hollow Knight, attempt number 2. Fresh off 90 hours of Hades. The fear of dying was gone, just like I said, but I still got lost. And about 2 hours in, I hit a boss that stonewalled me so hard, the old me would have already written the refund request. Instead, for the first time, I asked the developer question. Why does this game refuse to tell me where to go? And sitting in that cave, the answer finally landed. Being lost is the game. Hollow Knight isn't a combat game with a bad map. It's a game about being small and clueless in a huge dead kingdom where every corridor you memorize is real, earned knowledge. The map seller isn't a missing feature. He's the whole thesis. You find your own certainty or you buy it, and either way, you feel the weight of it. Once I understood what the game was actually about, the combat difficulty reframed itself from cruelty into stakes. The boss that used to end my playthroughs took 11 attempts, and when it finally went down, I just sat there with my heart pounding, and I understood every review I used to roll my eyes at. The game I'd called overrated for 3 years had not changed one line of code. I had just finally learned the language it was written in, and that's the entire secret. The games everyone loves, except you, are not broken. You are not broken. There's a translation step in between, and now you have 3 different ways to make it. Games are the only medium where the content literally changes based on how you show up to it. Same game, 2 players, 2 completely different experiences. The game everybody swears by, that you've bounced off more than once and never understood? Put it in the comments, because I guarantee someone scrolling past has the exact translation you're missing. And if you're still here,